is Dr. Joseph Lelo. I'm the Chief Medical Officer at AMREF Flying Doctors.
Stephen Nombuya, the Operations and Network Manager.
Ephraim Kanuri. I'm the Chief Pilot at AMREF Flying Doctors.
Temba Charles. I work in the Medical Operations Department.
On a day today, as we go about our activities, we have no way of predicting when an emergency may occur. And at times you may find yourself in a remote area or a place where the kind of medical services you need are not available. At times, your only option may be an air evacuation. What do? We bring you and walk you through what air evacuation is all about. We walk you through what AMREF Flying Doctors do. They have been in the business for the past 60 years with more than 1,000 air evacuations per year. This is Health Digest, and I'm Dr. Mercy Korir, and we take a walk through what AMREF Flying Doctors do.
So pre-flight is complete.
Air evacuation is unique because it's a combination of two disciplines. We have aviation and we have medicine. And in terms of the care that is available on board, I would say it's as good as any ICU care that we have in Nairobi.
When I wake up to come to work, I actually don't know what I'll do or where I will end by the end of the day. So most of the time you come in, prepared to go anywhere. Maybe you may not come back even the next day. That's the emergency situations whereby we pick up patients from one point to the other. Our control room is 24/7. Okay, there's always somebody attending to calls, emails in our control room. So there's no time when somebody's out of control room. All the times it's manned by an ICU nurse.
When somebody makes a call and it comes to the radio room, how do you proceed, or how do you handle the call from there? How do you proceed from there?
All the calls, we take them very, very importantly, and we prioritize them according to the callers. Basically, if somebody calls in asking for an emergency evacuation, we work, both of us have the control room and then the operations department. We work in tandem, such that in the control room, basically, if it's one of our clients, one of our members, basically we take through them the normal procedures of qualifying for an evacuation. Once we know this client has qualified for an evacuation, we proceed to activate our operations department to be able to arrange the team, get the aircraft ready, the ground people, and then one of our emergency nurses goes down to the medical stores, prepare the kit for evacuation, and then proceed for the evacuation.
What is the checklist that you go through to say now this person qualifies for an air evacuation and we can dispatch a team to them?
We have different kinds of clients. One could be a client calling you and wants an evacuation and is going to pay for it. So you don't question them. You have your medical team, you take them to where they want. We have our membership. If I speak to somebody, take him through the getting a report from the person, I'll be able to know this person is really unwell and will qualify for an emergency evacuation. But most of the times we advise the member to get to a facility, medical facility, whereby they can get a medical personnel who can be able to evaluate them. Now, the reason why we insist the patient to go to a medical facility is, for example, somebody is having a myocardial infarction, heart attack. Okay, if somebody is having a heart attack, you stay in the house and say, fine, I have membership with AMREF, I'm going to call them to come. Every minute that goes, we call it that every minute the situation gets worse. Okay, time is muzzle. The situation gets worse. So the earlier the person gets to a medical facility, the earlier the person gets treatment, and that way, by the time we reach the client must have gotten initial treatment, and then we proceed with the onward treatment. So basically, that's one of the criteria that would make somebody go to the hospital. Once they're in the hospital, we communicate with the doctors, with the nurses, and then we get the reports and then prepare to evacuate them from their point to another better facility.
And is there a situation where somebody is not able to go to a health facility, but you still need to evacuate them?
Yes, there are many situations. For example, somebody is in the Masai Mara. There's no medical facility over there. So basically, we talk to them or speak to the person with them. We get the medical report and we are sure that this is an emergency.
We have speed of access. We're able to reach patients in need quickly as compared to what options are available, which is mostly by road. So the aircraft is actually the quickest method to get advanced specialized care to a patient in need, and so we are in a good position to offer that, and we have years of experience and awards and our tucked in under our belts.
An emergency is defined very differently. For example, if there was somebody in Nairobi with a broken hand and the hospitals are nearby, that will not be an emergency. Just tell them, take a car, go to the hospital. If there's somebody with the same condition, for example, in Masai Mara, it will definitely be an emergency because there's no medical facility near him. So emergencies is a case by case. So we're dividing according to the situation on ground. We have all list of emergencies that we have. You can start from snake bites, animal attacks, accidents, falls, altitude sickness. Somebody has gone up the mountain and they're not able to breathe well, so we have to evacuate them. Altitude sickness, malaria, dysentery, diarrhea, cholera, all sorts of diseases can go to an emergency state.
Do you all have to have a background in medicine, or can anyone be in the control room?
Not anyone who can sit in the control room, because most of the times people call in, they need medical advice, they need most of the times they require medical advice. So if it's anybody else who is not a medic, you may not be able to handle the control room. Yes, everybody has medical background who sits in the control room. We have the normal basic trainings that of course the people come from the medical school, okay, and then we have the advanced life support, we have the basic life support, we have ATLS, that's advanced trauma support, and then we have EPLS, which we call whereby you are aware to deal with children. So you have to have all those courses together. At the same time, over here, somebody comes to sit here, you will have to come be trained on job, because what we do is there's no manual that you can be able to read through and say, at this point I'm going to do this like this. For example, any call that comes in with a different request, so you have to sit, listen, look at what people are doing, and then you can be able to handle, so you train on job as well. The moment you confirm that now we're going for an emergency evacuation, you hand over to operations, but still you are the one in charge, because you are the one who is going to inform the client that the aircraft is now leaving Nairobi, get to the airport, or constantly the controller keeps on communicating to everybody else to get information and to give information, to give feedback. So you never like hand over, now operations have taken over. No, the controller is the one who controls till the aircraft comes back again and you hand over the patient to the hospitals. We have aircraft trackers. We are able to track the aircraft at at exact time, okay, when they are flying. And again, we have radios. The pilots call us after every other time to inform us that probably we have a delay, and they always communicate to us. So they communicate us to around on radios, and we also can be able to track them on the tracker.
Operations department takes care of the flight logistics on behalf of all AMREF Flying Doctors flights. And that entails that from we get any confirmation to evacuate a patient to bring them from one point to another, then we take care of all the logistics that have to do with that movement from beginning to end.
So what are these logistics that you're looking at as an operations department?
Right, so there are quite a number. So one is typically we have to identify where the patient is, and therefore what's the suitable closest landing area that we need to get to pick the patient up. So once we've determined that, we have to identify a landing area that is safe, that's operationally serviceable and sound, and then based on that, then we have to determine the suitable aircraft that can go to that location and pick the patient, looking at a factor of operational requirements and aviation requirements to do that, and then now actually begin the process of what we call dispatch. So you now have to call in the flight crew, brief them on what that mission is about, when they're required to depart, and then you have to engage the relevant authorities, which include civil aviation authorities, Kenya Airports Authority, or other international authorities, depending on where you're going, to get the required clearances to do that flight, and then put the required paperwork for dispatch. That's also aviation and regulatory requirements that are there, ensure that the aircraft itself is airworthy, the crew have their licenses and all the requirements for the flight, and then basically put everyone together and do it in a specific timeline, because usually evacuation has a sense of urgency, and then release the aircraft. And then also we're required to monitor the movement of that aircraft to the patient pickup and until it's back at destination, and all the logistical requirements that are required with that, which are different from different flights. Yeah.
Are there circumstances or instances where the aircraft you have cannot be dispatched to where the patient is?
So fortunately, that is rare, because we have a mixture of what we call turboprop aircraft and fixed wing turboprop aircraft and jet aircraft. What that means is we are able to go into what we call bush airstrips, which are typically hard to get into. We have aircraft designed for that, and we've also got jet aircraft that can do a long distance mission into Europe, Middle East, Asia. So we can combine the two, and we hardly have a situation where it is rare. However, there are operational restrictions that would prevent us from going into certain locations, like a lot of the bush airstrips in Eastern Africa. As vast as they are, almost 1,000 of them, which is a good thing, but they're restricted to day operations only, which means though we can fly at night, we can't go in at night. And those are some of the restrictions we look into. Obviously, others which have to do with aviation, weather type of restrictions, or clearances into certain countries which are difficult to get into. We are surrounded by quite a number of countries that have conflict areas, and that can delay or even means that we cannot go and evacuate a patient.
So what happens when you have a client that is in an area you cannot fly at night? What options are there for this person?
So one of the benefits of engaging AMREF Flying Doctors is exactly that we have a 24-hour control center that is manned by ICU flight nurses. So when there's a restriction on the operational side, the medical team now continue the engagement with that patient, typically looking at what is available on the ground that can assist that patient until we're able to get to them either the next day, or if you are within a place we think we can organize a ground ambulance and you can be moved to a better location, then we can put that logistics, put that together for the patient. In Kenya, we are fortunate, we have quite a good spread of ground ambulance support. Our medical team understand that. You go into other countries like DRC or Central Africa, where now the operations teams assist with our local agents who typically take care of our flying, but now can assist with other logistics on the ground that will now advise our medical team on how to engage. We obviously don't engage him a lot when it comes to the patient care itself, but we can support them in terms of logistics.
So how long do you have as an operations department from the time you get a confirmation that now this is a patient you need to evacuate? How long do you have, because you say time is of essence, so how long do you have to put everything together?
If we had our way, our KPI from management is 20 minutes, but that is typically in the region, because if you're, for example, operating in Kenya, the restrictions for clearances don't exist because you're a local operator. But if you're flying internationally, you have to get landing permits and overflight permits from other airspaces in other countries, so that can delay. But putting an evacuation together and to get airborne, our KPI is 20 minutes. We average about 30, and to get airborne for the region, but we can do it pretty quickly because we have the medical team on standby on site. We usually have at least one member of flight crew to respond, and then when they fly, we call in the next one to be on standby. So we can do it pretty quickly, but we are usually restricted for international flights. We have to apply for permits, and depending on how long a particular country or civil aviation authority gives us clearance, it can affect our ability to activate the flight. All AMREF Flying Doctor staff have to do what we call basic life support training as a matter of the brand, because you will engage with a patient to one point or the other. But the operations teams are actually staffed by flight operations officers who are licensed. They are trained under the aviation requirements and regulations, and they are licensed to do that. So their thinking, their training is more under flight operations, which is an aviation discipline, and that's the minimum requirement that we take. But once they are part of AMREF Flying Doctors, they undergo a first aid training, because in one way or another we engage with the patient. We have to assist the medical team, and whenever there's a call, especially when the flights land back at base with the patient, we need to be able to support the medical team, even from a medical point of view. I'm really a big proponent, not just because I'm an employee of AMREF Flying Doctors, of the Maisha product, which covers the regional area, because we really prioritize our members. And from an operational point of view, because we are typically the bad guys, we are the ones who say we can't go in at night, it's not safe, or we are limited with time. The medical team always want to go when there's an emergency. But if you're a member, it really helps you, because the decision to evacuate you sits with AMREF Flying Doctors, not a third party. And so when you are in a medical emergency, that decision is quick for us, and then the operation team basically kicks in gear and releases the aircraft to come and evacuate the patient. So I would encourage, if you don't have a Maisha cover, and it's ridiculously affordable, to take one.
Here we have everything that we need for additional use. Just tell us about the bag. So this is our emergency bag that we must take on all our flights, because it contains everything that you need for stabilizing a patient, resuscitating a patient, everything. Yeah, it's a one go. If you have it, you can do everything.
So what is in the bag?
It entails many things, if I could show it to you. So we've arranged it in a very organized manner, so that we have, in case for the airway, if I need to give anyone oxygen, so I quickly can access my oxygen parameters. This is a non-rebreathe mask, and then if I need to give a high flow oxygen, if I need to give low flow nasal prunes for low, if I need to nebulize my patient, I have the nebulizers for adults and pediatrics. So this is just quick access for these ones. We'll put them out here. And then in case I need to intubate my patient, I will have to open the bag. And this is the portion, the blue, they are color coded, in that you just know which ones to go for. So this is my ambi bag. If I need to bag my patient, and the airways, yeah, they're all here. And if I need to intubate, I will move to the down bag. You can see the systematic way how we have arranged it. So these are my tubes, the endotracheal intubating tubes. This is the tip, and we have the KY jelly. We have the modules, and this is the introducer. Yeah, the tape and everything.
Is this both for adults and children?
Yes.
Okay.
We have for adults and children. However, we have another bag for babies, for lesser neonates, 1 year and below. Or if also, sometimes they could be even above 1 year, but with the weight.
Yes, small for age.
Small for age. Okay. So we have a different bag for that, which I'll show it to you. We have the laryngoscope. And in case we need to do a tracheostomy, we can also do that. Okay. So everything has been checked, because as you saw the seal. So before you seal it, you have to make sure that everything is in good working condition. Okay.
And why do you label the seals?
So that's for accountability. So in case someone picks this bag, once they see this, once you put the seal, it means that someone has counter-checked that bag. So everything in it is in good working condition by the time you're keeping it for the next flight. So when you come from your flight, you have to replace everything and leave the bag ready for the next flight.
Okay.
Yes. So if anything, so the person to ask is yes, that person.
This person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one is for in case we need to do a tracking.
Like if there's an obstruction.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you need to open the airway.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that is that. So that is the airway. Now,
so the airway is blue.
Yes, the airway is blue. And now we can move to the orange red. That is for our circulation. So this is the next part. So for the circulations, we have our fluids. You can see the pressure bag. So it's just on top in case you need to give high flow fluids. And then we have all the fluids, and it's labeled, as you can see. This is for dextrosaline. We have for Hartmann's. We have for Hartmann's, and we have for normal saline. Yeah. Okay. This is for in case of intracranial pressures. Okay. So
when somebody has head injury.
Head injury. Yes. Yes. Okay. So we have the IVs in case you need to fix an IV.
So all sizes.
All sizes. We have them even for pediatric, the blue ones, the orange, the yellow ones. We have all of them. The pink. Yeah. And then now you move from here. And just from here you come to this is the resuscitation medications. And we have them. And we have a list of everything that is inside. So we can start from this side, and we have them all labeled. Okay. So the atropines, the adrenalines,
and the quantity,
and the quantities.
Okay.
So everything is labeled, and we also have this other side. This is now for the analgesics. So the tramols, the diclofenac, all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Ketamine, everything. All right. And we have this small portion for antibiotics.
Oh, these are?
Yes.
Okay.
So we carry Rocephin and Zinacef. Okay. The broad spectrum antibiotics. Yeah. So from that, we come to in case you need to fix a chest tube. We have this compartment. These are for the syringes, which goes with the drugs.
With
yes. And then in case you need to fix a chest tube, we have that here.
So
we
somebody has
air in
the
the
lungs.
Yes.
Or bleeding in the lungs.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So before we transport, just because as we go up, the air continues expanding. So we need to put for them the chest tube before we leave. And so the one that we use is totally different from the one that they use in the hospital with the underwater. So we use this, which is two-way, and it doesn't bring back the air to the lungs. Okay. So that
is this specifically because of the flight?
Yeah,
or can it also be used on the ground?
It can be used, but you see, you need the underwater and what have you. But for us, we don't need it. Okay, this one is for quick and doesn't carry so much the amount.
Okay.
So I think for
so
continuation,
this is just for the immediate transfer.
Yes.
Okay.
So you fix it on the bag. So this goes with this.
Okay.
So once you connect it, once you put the tube inside, you connect this one, and it is indicated for you which side goes. This to the lungs, this to the lungs, and this to the drain. So we fix a urine bag here.
Okay.
And it drains to the urine bag. Okay. So
so that gives you enough time to get the patient
to the hospital.
Where they need to go.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Although even when they get to the hospital, they can still use it. Yeah. Okay. But the hospital also, they like using the underwater seal. So that is that. All this goes with it.
Yeah.
With the chest tube.
Health Digest takes a short commercial break.